Okay, this is my 20 and a half month update since my L3 through L5 lumbar fusion, just back in May of 2021. So I haven't done a video in the last couple months. Usually do one about once a month, but it's been since mid to late November of 2022. So we have some catching up to do. So my last video, if you saw that one, I was hitting that 18-month mark, which I think a lot of people would say even best case scenario, if you're going to recover, whether it's nerve stuff or pain, whatever, that you're going to do it within the first 18 months. So I was really kind of looking at that as a target date to kind of see where I was. And I was doing pretty well up until early November, where I re-aggravated a bunch of my symptoms at the gym. It seemingly was from some pull-ups, which I was just doing with the machine. And I kind of, after doing some pull-ups, kind of stretched out by hanging a little bit from the pull-up bar, which felt really good. My back hadn't been stretched like that in a while, so it felt really good. And for the hours after that, I felt almost normal. It was very strange. So I don't know if I released some of the nerves or something happened there. And then after feeling so good, I felt really bad. And that was that last update. So my right foot, which is normally kind of the bad foot with some numbness, and that's always there, and some funny feelings, that was pretty much the same, maybe a little bit aggravated, but my left foot and left leg felt really bad, and that's usually the good side. So this happened once before in February of 2022, where I had aggravated it a little bit at the gym, not doing anything crazy, but just doing even a little bit, I think, kind of aggravated things. And it took like 3 months for it to heal up. So kind of felt like this was maybe something similar, but what I didn't want to do was totally become inactive. So I thought, well, okay, I'm not feeling great, but let's make sure I stay a little bit active and keep walking and trying to do some hikes and that kind of stuff. So even though I was wearing Crocs a little bit more in mid to late November, I wanted to stay active and wanted to keep walking. And my symptoms were definitely worse. And I included a few hikes. One was a little bit more difficult than I anticipated due to some weather stuff. I don't know if I maybe aggravated some more stuff at that point. But then December was really challenging. Wearing Crocs, work Crocs, and I usually wear Crocs around the house anyway because it just feels good. But having to wear a little bit more going to the store and other places, kind of, hit and miss, kind of back and forth that way. But again, didn't want to totally go inactive. And I remember I wouldn't even call it a hike. It was a place where you could do some hiking, but I didn't even really get that far. I was kind of keeping it pretty tame and just doing even a little bit of climbing. This was right before Christmas. It aggravated everything, and both feet felt really bad. A lot of burning pain in the legs and feet. So I decided to really just kind of shut it down completely, and then I was walking very little, sometimes 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day. I had been averaging probably 11 or 12,000 towards the end of last year. A couple of car rides during the holidays. When I'm sitting like that for a long time, that always aggravates things as well. So it's kind of a double whammy. Got to the point where on January 1st, I was feeling so bad. I actually went into the ED to get some things checked out because I was getting concerned at that point. My surgeon, I had talked to him in November, and he said, let's kind of watch it. And if it doesn't get better, then we can do some more imaging, that sort of thing. So when I went in on a more urgent basis on, I think it was January 1st, I had a CT scan, which came out normal. Now, it's not an MRI, but it's still pretty good. Gives you an idea. They put me on some steroids to try to calm things down a little bit, and that seemed to help somewhat. They actually started me back on Neurontin, which I had not been on, so that was kind of a bummer. And I talked to my surgeon after that, and he said, let's go ahead and get the MRI. So I had that on January 20th, I think, 2023. And the MRI came back, well, to say normal would be kind of misleading because my MRI, and anybody that's had surgeries like this that has hardware in their back, it doesn't look very normal. But it looked comparable to my last MRI, which was kind of mid-2022. That didn't surprise me. I didn't think anything had fallen apart. Fusion looks good. It's pretty much totally fused. I thought maybe, if anything, maybe the hardware got loose, but the hardware is in place. So again, nothing's falling apart. So the new symptom in January on top of all this, especially in early January, when I was really feeling all the bad stuff in my legs and feet, my back started hurting more, especially in the area of the incision, the surgery, and then really expanded to the areas below and above, and everything felt stiff, painful, like a band of stiffness going across a large portion of my back. And I had not really had that. I had had some back spasms mid last year, but those went away. I wouldn't say these were more, it's hard to say. I guess they could have been spasms. There was pain involved, but it was just this incredible just stiffness. And I couldn't really do the things that I was doing towards the end of last year, like coaching softball. We started up again in January, and I felt like I couldn't really do some of those drills just because my back was hurting and it was so stiff. So I tried to stretch that out, and it just wasn't happening. So I laid off the softball stuff. Thankfully, most of our girls are going to high school, so they have to play for their high school teams. We can't do travel and high school, so I get a break, which I need right now. And I've been taking it easy in January, and the intense burning and pain in my legs has gotten better. My left foot is still feeling worse than my right. But unlike much of December and early January, where I was wearing crocs at work, I didn't touch regular shoes for weeks. And some days I couldn't even wear socks. So like my work crocs, which are kind of meant to be almost barefoot anyway, I was doing that a lot. It was concerning for sure. But I would say over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm wearing normal shoes again and socks. I'm able to do that, although sometimes it doesn't feel very good. I'm still able to do it, and I haven't really been wearing Crocs at work. I wear Crocs around the house. When I go to the store or something, well, for that month or two, I was definitely wearing Crocs. Now I feel like I can go to the store and kind of wear normal shoes. So that part's better. I don't have the intense burning, tingling pain in my legs quite as much, although I still have a little bit. So I think I'm getting better. I haven't hiked in a while. I don't intend to for a while. I want to try to rebound here and get better, get off the meds. The steroids that I'd received to kind of calm things down, that was just for like a 4-day course, so that was pretty brief. But yeah, I'm back on the Neurontin right now. While this is going on, I do plan on weaning off of that here pretty soon again. And my back stiffness and pain, I think, is getting like slowly better. I don't feel like my back is quite as stiff and like it's not as locked as it was before. I think I'd maybe pulled some muscles stretching during this whole thing, trying to get better and feeling like, hey, if I loosen up my back, but maybe it just wasn't ready for that. And my muscles are probably weak just in general, and they were, cut through in order to do the surgery. So I just like a whole bunch of things at once. So it's been frustrating for sure, but I do think I'm getting better. And I've had a lot of great insights and input from many of you who have commented and talked about experiences they've had where they've aggravated things and how they kind of got through it. I'm doing a lot of hot pads, cold, kind of alternating. I do that at work when I can a little bit. I think that's maybe helping, but I just, I'm guessing that part of it is just that area because it was damaged and it had surgery, that it just, when it's aggravated, it takes a really long time to kind of get back on track. So I'm hoping that's it. So I'm getting better. I think I'm on the road to hopefully getting back to my previous baseline. So we'll see over the next several weeks or month when I do my next update. But I'm hanging in there. Again, I really appreciate all the help and insights and comments from a lot of you who follow these videos. It's so very much appreciated. And I think I've had more inquiries and comments than ever, also from people that are going through the process or starting to go through the process or thinking about surgery. So I'm happy to do what I can on that end. But I think, especially these last couple of months, I've really gotten a lot of help from all of you. So I really appreciate it. So I will try to do an update either sometime later this month or early March, let you know how I'm doing. Let me know how you're doing as well. And until next time.